I want to introduce our speaker. Quick story, we tried to get her here last year, but she was speaking at another convention, and so we tried again this year. We got her here, and here is the wonderful, beautiful Miss Patryce from Mount Vernon, New York.
I'm an addict. My name is Patryce.
Hi, Patryce.
I'm an addict. My name is Patryce. And first things are always first. I need to thank the God of my understanding for another day clean. I need to just take a moment to embrace what I am looking at. When I tell you, we do recover. I want to thank, I have to look because I'm old. I have to look at Ocean Shores. I want to thank you for inviting me to come to share my experience, strength, and hope. I want to thank the whole committee. The hospitality is, man, I don't even know the words. You know, I know that I have been made to feel so welcome, so wanted. You know, I need to thank the women who traveled with me. I love you. I love you. And I just want to say that I have to tell this story because this is my truth. My truth is that when I had 10 months clean, I went to the World Convention in Baltimore, Maryland. And it was September 1994. And there was a speaker there. And she shared about living in the solution. And every word that I just digested every word that she said because it made so much sense. And that speaker was our Thursday night speaker. That was our Adrian W., who put such fire. She puts, she talk about set it on fire. You know, and what she did was fan the flames of desire. She fanned the flames to let me know that I too could recover, that I was eligible too, that I hadn't gone so far down the line that there was no hope for me. Now let me tell you what happened to me. Before I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I was a perfect candidate for death. In fact, I would look forward to it, because I couldn't stand the life that I was living. You know, I came from a good family. They were very nice. They really were very nice. But I was very different. I was voted most eccentric in the 8th grade. And I don't know, they thought it was cute, but it effed me up. Because you're telling me in the yearbook that I'm strange. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, you don't know how to process that stuff. They thought it was cute. I didn't think it was cute. And so for the next few years, I tried to get away from feeling so strange, feeling so different. You know, like it was just very difficult. You know, like I said, I came from a good family, and I have parents, and it looked on the outside like we were such a nice family, nice. You know, the mother, the father, the 2 children, we was always dressed nice, we were always going places, and people would just think that they're so nice. But what we were was so miserable. We were miserable in a house that we couldn't tell anybody what was really going on. We were miserable. Oh, they can't hear me?
Yeah.
I got a big mouth, how come they can't hear me?
There you go, there you go.
Did I not enunciate? You hear me now? Can you hear me now. No, okay.
You can hear
I'm
me
back.
now.
So I grew up in this family where on the outside it really did look like we were a very nice family. But on the inside, there was a lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, and a lot of emotional abuse. Now, my father he did hit me, but he said such mean things to all of us. And what I noticed is when he came home, the whole atmosphere of the house changed. And the whole, it wasn't safe. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know if my mother and my father were going to get into this big screaming match and she's going to be jumping out windows again trying to get away from him. I didn't know. My sister would get so fearful and she would kind of back down and me with the mouth. I didn't understand why this was happening. And so it became, shut up, Pat. Shut up, Pat. Just shut up, Pat. If I would just shut up, things would work out. You know what I'm saying? And again, those feelings are not belonging. By the way, they called me Pat. I don't allow people to call me Pat today because Pat was from the mother freaking projects. And she wasn't very nice. However, Patryce from Westchester is very nice. Because let me tell you, in Narcotics Anonymous, you can redefine yourself. And I made a conscious and concerted decision not to allow people to call me Pat because Pat wasn't very nice. And it's not to say that I cannot be Pat today, but I prefer and I behave like Patryce. Because I had discovered that I have great value and I have great worth. But I have to prove it to myself, not to you, but to myself by the way that I behave. So as I was saying, in this nice little house with the nice little father where we're going to the ice capades and we're going here and we're going there, and it was very unsafe for me. And at 15 years old, I shot my first bag of dope, and I fell desperately in love. Desperately. And for the next 27 years, I chased dope. I chased coke, and I sucked down a lot of crack. And when I tell you, I kept doing the thing that I hated the most about me, and I couldn't stop. And what my family would do is they would cover it up. They would always buy me clothes because, you can't look like that. If that's what you're doing, but you can't look like that because you represent us and it doesn't look good. It's not a nice look, And so because it wasn't a nice look, I couldn't get the help that I needed, So at 15 years old, I made my first detox. Yeah, I did. I went there. But I only went there because my aunt was there, and they thought it would be nice if I went there for a little while, but never really getting the help that I need, never really recognizing that there's something wrong. There's something wrong with somebody so young trying to kill themselves. There's something wrong. They call it the elephant in the living room, where you go happily into denial because it's unpleasant. I'm not blaming them because their coping skills were their coping skills. But as a result of that, I did so much damage to myself. So much damage because I couldn't talk about what was really going on. I couldn't tell people that my father would pull out guns and terrorize us. I couldn't tell people that. I couldn't let people know that we wasn't the nice family that my mother was trying to project. Image was everything. And it says that in our literature that until an addict admits complete defeat, hope is not possible. And so what did I do? It says that we go on as best we can to the bitter ends. And the bitter ends were 27 years. And that's why we do recover. Because it says when at the end of the road, when you can no longer function as a human being, And the thing about addiction is because you don't even know that you're jacked up. and the reason why you don't know is because you hang around people who are jacked up too. So if you're a little bit better than them, then you're not that jacked up. Yeah. and see, again, the denial was because I always had a job. I always had a job. It was a prerequisite for living in 1H. You have to have a job. I had this know, because like it
know, so
doesn't
I
work
could
that
get
way.
all of these
You know,
jobs,
boy, I could get some jobs. You know, I work for the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. I work for Chase Manhattan Bank. I mean, I was doing the do until it was time to get paid. And once I got paid, then I didn't work at Chase Manhattan Bank no more. Or I didn't work at the Federal Reserve Bank. They didn't want to hear my name. They didn't have nothing to do with me. You know, it was just, you know, when I tell you the magnitude of the disease called addiction, you know, it is relentless. And it's never satisfying. It's never satisfying. The more I fed this sucker, the more I had to feed this sucker. You know, to the exclusion of having children, I have no time for parenting. To the exclusion of taking care of myself, I don't have time to go to the doctor. I don't have time for that. I don't have time. But however, I did have time to marry the man who was beating my eyeballs out twice. I'm trying to talk about my priorities. I'm trying to let you see how things that are crazy seem sane when you're ingested with this poison and telling yourself that you're having a good time. I was so messed up last night. Giving my life away. Giving my life away. So I married this maniac. And when I tell you the terror continued, when I tell you that I would say, no, Joe, no, Joe, no, Joe, wait, you know, because I didn't want him to hit me. But I didn't know how to not make him hit me. And everything I did to try to not make him hit me, he just kept hitting me. And I didn't have enough worth or value to fight back. Because by now, you know, the addiction has taken off to such a point where, you know, well, he wanted me. He wanted me. I didn't want me, but he wanted me. You know, and he could save me from me because he didn't use drugs. Do you know how desperate you have to be to allow somebody to give you crabs and you get cleared from the crabs and you let them reinfect you again? Do you know how low you have to feel to allow that? Do you know how bad you have to feel about yourself to know that he has a girlfriend, but you have nothing to say? You're getting on the bus and she's driving the car. And you're married to him. You know, he can have a different life, and I had to have the life, you know, because I didn't have the courage to stand up for myself. I didn't have the courage or the willingness to think that there was any hope for me. Because there was no hope. My mother never left. She never left. Why should I leave? You know, you see, the thing that I know is that we learn what we live. Then we go right out into the world and live what we learn. If you don't know better, how could you possibly do better? Who's telling you? Not the one who has nothing to say. Who? What are you supposed to do? So they say that you get information from, misinformation from misinformed people. But at least it was some information. I was getting something besides beat up, besides running and hiding and staying in motels. And this disease is wicked. It is wicked. Because coupled with the, you know, like the beat downs, then you got your own head doing some talking. Because you're stupid. Because you're this. You should have did that. You should have said this. Why didn't you do that? But you're too scared. You're too scared to do any of that. But you're not too scared to shoot dope, go off into La La Land where you don't have to think. This is really not what I wanted to tell you all. It really isn't. I wanted to tell you all that until I admitted complete defeat, there just was no hope for me. There was just no hope. And I learned that I have to tell myself the truth. Even when it's painful, I have to tell myself the truth. Because I don't want to live in denial anymore. Now, so let's fast forward a little bit. Because I always say, I don't know why they keep asking me to share, because all I do is get up here and cry and tell all my business. And then I say, what did I say? Because what happens is like, I don't care. I don't care. Because my life, you know, if it's a choice of telling all my business or going back happily into denial, I have to tell all my business. Because the real deal is that I want to live, man. I want to live. I take a look at the track record and how I went to here, there, the other place, just running, because I'm running for my life, but I kept running into drugs. You know, I mean, I can't, listen, I moved to Washington, D.C., I moved to Ware, Mississippi. There really is a place called Ware, Mississippi. I moved to New Jersey. I stayed in a place called House of Ruth because I was homeless. I moved to, Maryland. I moved North Carolina, and everywhere I went, there I was, doing the same identical thing. The same thing, because, you know, for me, I cannot navigate this thing called life without help. You know, my sponsor says 2 heads are better than one. They're better than one. You know, like you got to talk about some of this stuff that's in your head. I mean, because my best thinking. Listen, I tried to murder myself. Me. I didn't call it that though. I said that I was just getting high. But I tried to murder myself. You know, I mean, and she told me that I have to call things by their proper name. It was attempted murder. I wasn't taking drugs for medicinal purposes. I wasn't trying to reach higher. You know what I'm saying? A higher consciousness. I was trying to get high. You know, I mean, I just think about, all of these things that I did because I didn't have information, because I wasn't willing to try anything, I wasn't willing to tell anybody anything, and as a direct result of that, it was just endless suffering. Suffering. You know, and check it out. This is the life that I chose. Nobody made me. I wasn't a victim. Nobody said, oh, let me stick this needle in your arm. Nobody said that. I said that. That sounds like a good idea. I said that. I'm going to keep doing this. I said that. Because I didn't have coping skills, but I had lots of coping skills. I couldn't tell you the truth, but I could tell you a lie real quick. I could, you know. So as a result, I have 2 children, right? And one of the biggest things where I violated my own morals was that my son was not my husband's child. And I wanted him to be so bad so I didn't have to get beat up. I really wanted him to be. And there's a lot of degradation. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of you're just a dirtbag. How could you? And he didn't let me forget it. Kill confidence. When constant criticism, you know, constant abuse, you stop fighting, man. You know, and so I have these 2 children, right? So my oldest son, who because I'm not really a parent person, you know, like I'm very completely selfish, you know, because the core of my disease is complete and total self-sensitive. Let's get real here. You know, I mean, I've gotten a lot better, you know, but, you know, when you have untreated disease, completely selfish. So he was a burden to me. So he would always go to sleep at 8 o'clock sharp. So 8 o'clock I can go out and do my thing, you know. And then I had the nerve to get mad when my mother and him, of course, got very close because I was never around. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get an attitude because she's taking care of my son. Who does she think she is? Then I had the nerve to have another baby. I had another baby, and he was from the right father. And of course, there was a lot of shame. Because it was very visible they had two different fathers, you know? And that was my big shame. And that's what kept me going and going and going and going, because that was just horrible. How could you do that? And he wasn't even a good guy. Why am I blaming the baby on him? Why? Because I was so afraid. I was just so afraid, you know? So afraid. So my mother basically raised my kids because I was busy shooting dope, chasing coke, sucking down crack, sleeping with people I didn't like. I was just unavailable. You know, it's kind of like I got lost into some land. I don't know, I just went someplace. And but it's like hiding in plain sight, man. I'm right here, but I'm not here. You know, so much so that my youngest son, right, I would be so zonked out that he would, you know, I guess he was learning about sex. And so he was humping me. And I woke up one time when he was humping me, because I would be so obliviated that I didn't even know what was going on. And I just happened to wake up, and I told him that he's not to do that to mommy again. And he never did, and of course he doesn't remember that. But I remember that because it was just yet another slap in my face that I was not available. I just wasn't available, you know. I have made such a mess in trying to get here that by the time I got to Narcotics Anonymous, I was so totally beaten. And see, that's what I like about Narcotics Anonymous, because you have to be thoroughly beaten to become willing. Because if I had just a little bit of, I could, maybe, I wouldn't have stayed. But I had to get beaten beyond an inch of my life for me to recognize that this disease is serious. And it has one purpose: to kill me. One purpose. So let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what really happened. So I came to Narcotics Anonymous, and I came ready. The first time I came to Narcotics Anonymous, I wasn't really ready. I got to just say that. I came here to visit. And I came and I saw that, you know what? This is not for me. This is just really, abstain from all drugs in order to recover? Whoa, that's way too much. Whoa, no, we can't do that. We cannot do that. You know, I mean, I wasn't even a drinker, but not even a drink. Something, you know? And but when I came back the second time, that was in '88. When I came back again in '93, I was ready. I was ready to do the work that's necessary in order to stay. Because what I recognize is this is not a given, that this is a gift. And that if I don't recognize, okay, that it's not worth anything. And if it's not worth anything, I'm not going to keep it. I'm not going to take care of it. So I got beaten beyond an inch of my life. I came to Narcotics Anonymous after coming out of rehab romance. and finding out that he was worshiping the devil. And I said, that's a little too deep for me. And he had to go. I brought him straight from the detox to my house. Because by then, my husband has moved on, and that's just fine, right? So I brought him home, and but they said to me that that I have to make a decision. Like, what's more important to me? You know, I have to make a decision, because what was stripped from me in active addiction is there was no choice. I had to use. I had to do the things in order to stay high, because that's how I was able to face the world. And when I came here, y'all told me that the last time was really the last time, and that I can recover. And I made that decision. When I was in detox, they said, the lady pointed to me, she said, you never have to use again. When she did like this, I did like this. Because I thought she was talking to the person behind me. Because she surely had to be talking to the person behind me, because I was jacked up. Everybody knew I was jacked up. Well, look, it has to be that young girl right there. But it was this old girl right here. It was my turn. It was my turn to stop killing myself. It was my turn to recognize that there is hope for you, baby. You know, so I came out of the detox, you know, got rid of the guy, and I started making Narcotics Anonymous meetings. And y'all was so loving. Oh my God. I said, what's wrong with these people? Are these the same people? Because I had left before, because I went to an anniversary and they didn't give me any cake. And I said that they were cliquish and they were this. You know how you disqualify yourself. And that's what I did. I disqualified myself because I was afraid to say I was afraid. And so when I came back, and I made the decision that, you know, really, the last time really is the last time. I don't care what I have to do. I don't care what I have to do. I can't use drugs anymore. I can't do it, you know? And that was November 10th, 1993. That was the day that Pat died and Patryce was born. Because they told me that I could redefine myself and that I could do anything I want. Because it says that the full fruit of a labor of love, that it lives in a harvest. And that it always comes in its right season. And I don't need to be jealous of you. I need to get busy. You know, I need to get busy in my own program. I need to get my sponsor, and I need to hit the steps, and I need to recognize that it's not a one-shot deal. You know, we doing them again and again and again. At the end of the 9th step, it says that God has given us an invitation to live. So what do you want to do? I want to live. I want to live and enjoy life like other people do. I want to experience all the things that I thought that I might want to experience. You know, I want to be the best Patryce that I can be. You know, and check it out, I'm good. I'm good. And you know why I'm good? Because I'm not a carbon copy of you. I'm the best Patryce that I can be. That's right. You know, like the thing that got away was the self-acceptance. See, I could accept you, but I couldn't accept me. See, I needed you to validate me. And once I stopped needing you to validate me, I started getting impressed with me. You doggone right. Because if you're not impressed with you, who's going to be impressed with you? I need to keep improving myself by, you know, reaching these goals that I set for myself. I'm not talking about becoming a millionaire. This ain't about money. This is about the spirit of a higher power. This is about knowing that I have value. This is about not hurting people anymore. Those same people, my mother and my father and my, it seems so strange to say my father, because my father died a year before I got clean. So he never saw Patryce. The last time I saw him, I was going to cop. But you know what? We got a ninth step. And we make amends. And we forgive ourselves. And we stop holding ourselves hostage from yesterday. We let go of resentments that are 30 years old. You know? We just become better people. You know? And so, like I said, I got here and I got busy. And you know what they did? Let me tell you what they did. They nominated me to be the secretary. You would have thought that I was the president. Self-acceptance, sprinkled with love, sprinkled with people investing in you. You become a whole nother person. The person that I came here as is not the person that I am today. You know, I ain't mad at you. You do you, and I'm going to take care of me. You know, I practice these principles even when it's hard, when I would much rather tell you a few things about what I really think. And I make the spiritual choice to live in a spiritual solution because I am unwilling to allow you and your insanity to mess up my peace. We say it all the time. God, grant me the serenity, which means God grant me the peace to accept the things I can't change. That would be you. The courage, because it takes courage to have a voice to stand up for yourself. It doesn't have to be loud and obnoxious, but I have to stand up for myself. And the wisdom to know the difference. What's my will, what's God's will, and where I need to get out the way. Because God's will is very peaceful. Mine is not always. Because we want what we want when we want it. And I want it now. You know? And wanting it now is not, that's not always the best thing for me. You know, I wanted a husband, right? Because, you know, the 1, 2, the same guy. And then now I have a 3, right? 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be the third one, right? So let me tell you about this husband. So this husband, I met him in recovery. We've been together for 15 years. You know, he's very good. He's totally unlike the husband I was accustomed to, right? So I had to learn that, you know, and thank God for the traditions, because the traditions help us to stay in a relationship. You know, the steps free me, you know, so that I'm available for a relationship, and the traditions help me so that I'm not going to kill you. Okay, so what happens is, one of the things that we did immediately is we developed a spiritual aim about what we're going to do in our relationship. One of the things that we're never, ever, ever going to do, we're not leaving. Even if it gets hot in here, you know how that goes, you know, that we're not going to leave. So we get married, you know, things are different because we're married and he's living there, right? And yeah, he's there, right? And I want the window closed, he wants it open. I want this that way, he wants it this way. You know, and like I always say, it's like you gotta like mesh, you know, you gotta give the relationship a chance to where y'all can be a we, right? And these are the things that we talked about. I mean, this is someone oh my God, I just admire him so. Oh Lord. I'm being kind. He says to me, this is not a marriage. He said to me, I'm going to pay the bills to the end of the month. I'm moving out at the end of the week. I'm like, what? And I said, you sure? Because I didn't know what else to say. I probably would have had a better answer if I was a little bit more prepared. So I said, you sure? What do you say when somebody says, I'm leaving you? It's like, oh, okay, bye. You know? So I said, you sure? So he says, yes, I'm sure. So I have to tell you that this was the good husband, and it really hurt me. It cut me to my core. And he left, and then in 7 days exact, he said, I made a mistake. I want to come back. So I said, you don't live here anymore. Either you're committed to the relationship or you're not. I cannot, coming from an unstable household, I need to be loved and I need to be safe. And if you cannot provide those things, I'm not mad at you. But you just can't live here. But I have to tell you, I've been being defective. Because he still feels that he needs to pay all the household bills and do these things. And now my sponsor said, baby, you know that's not right. I said, it is so! Because I'm unwilling to give up that money. I'm unwilling. And subconsciously I'm making him pay and pay and pay. And I want him to be mad, but he's never mad. Because he's so remorseful. What can I say? Listen, I've always had a poverty mentality. I've always been greedy. So I try to limit. I try to limit my withdrawals. I'm getting better. We are trying to work on our relationship, but I think that, because I am who I am, and he is who he is, that sometimes it's better living apart together, because I don't cheat, I don't sleep with other people, although I'd like to, but I don't. That's real talk. I would like to. It's been a long time, but I don't because, integrity is the consistent application of spiritual principles, even when nobody's looking. I can't do it. I can't do it because for me, the biggest part of my first fourth step was discovering, and my first fifth step was discovering that shame is the fear of exposure. Guilt says you did a bad thing. Shame says you're a bad person. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling like I'm a bad person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm defective. I'm not saying that. But there's certain boundaries that I cannot cross. If I'm going to sleep with other people, then I have to be divorced, because that's just not how I get down. I have been diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, but now I'm cured. I have other medical problems. I run out of oxygen very quickly because when you're sucking down a lot of crack, it doesn't really help your lungs, and so I have to have a pump because sometimes I just get out of breath. But what I do is I take the bitter with the sweet. The sweet is that my limbs work, I'm breathing, and I'm alive. I'm alive, baby. I'm alive, and when you're alive, you have choices. You have choices, and you can do some things differently. I have to work with my limitations, and I work with my strengths. I work with my sponsor because, just before I came here today, she said, I didn't sleep last night, so I'm a little bit crazy, right? Yeah, I am crazy. But I didn't sleep last night because and all the praying that I was doing, it just wouldn't turn off. And it's because that the message is hope. And the promise is freedom. That an addict, any addict, can stop using drugs. You can stop. Stop. and lose the desire. Can you imagine waking up and not wanting to shoot dope? Not wanting to take anything to get you off E? And then find a new way to live? Hey, hey. We living, baby. We are living. Life is good. Let me tell you, I have been to so many places, so many, well, not that many countries. Maybe a few countries. Yeah, a few countries. But a lot of places because when I wake up in the morning, I have $2 over lunch money, man. You know, I'm not blowing my money. And thank God for the 7th tradition, I learned how to manage my money. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, listen, I mind my business. I mind my business. The 10th tradition says we have no opinion, neither does Patryce, because I'm not here for that. You know, I'm here to recover a day at a time. I'm here to be the best person that I can be. I'm here to help somebody, but don't tell nobody. It's called anonymity. That's what it's called. You know, I'm just grateful. You know, they told me to talk a long time, but I don't do that.
Are you ready? You're done?
Almost.
About a half hour.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done because I don't like that. Like I said, I'm tired, right? And I'm not going to just stand up here and just rattle on. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm tired. You know, the real deal is that I was so excited because I'm very childlike in ways. I was so excited that I was going to share. Oh, my God, I'm so nervous that I couldn't sleep. And like I said, my sponsor said I needed to tell you all that because, you know, it just says that I'm human. You know, I have to tell you this. And then I'm going to be done because I don't want to hold your hostages. It says, there's 2 things. It says, helping others is perhaps the highest aspiration of the human heart and something we have been entrusted with as a result of a higher power working in our lives. We would do well to remember to ask the God of our understanding to continue working through us in an effort to carry the message. I am so grateful. I am so grateful that I don't have to hurt myself anymore. I am so grateful that I became the person that I interrupted the process. I am so grateful that I have a God who loves me even when I'm bad. I have a God that is not having a, he's not keeping score of when I screw up. You know, I have wonderful relationships in my life. Those 2 children that I told you about, they're all grown men. My son is doing both my sons are doing very well. And you know what? You know, because of the traditions, because of forgiving myself, because I'm not holding myself hostage to yesterday, I have a wonderful relationship with them. And when stuff happens, they call me. I'm the first call that they make. And that means so much to me. My mother who watched me self-destruct and was so powerless and didn't have a voice to help me. My mother is doing very well. You know, we have a wonderful relationship as well. My son is getting married. We're all going to Costa Rica. You know, I mean, it's not on his money. It's on my money. I just want to say that. It is my money. You know, we're going there, and, you know, like my family is very, very close. You know, as I said before, my father died, and it saddens me, like on Father's Day and stuff like that, but I know that he knows, because sometimes I'm in my car, and I feel like a little push. You know, a little weird, but then they said I was whatever. Anyway, I feel like a little push, and in that little push, I know that, and it's a push when I'm kind of like lost, because I came here so lost, but like I'm not lost anymore, right? But sometimes I get lost with navigation and stuff. So sometimes I feel like a little push, or suddenly something I didn't know, all of a sudden I know. You know, suddenly I'm getting out of the shower because it seems like I really connect with God in water, right? And then all of a sudden, like, what was so confusing to me is just so simple now. You know, because, I mean, really, everything starts with stop. Stop the insanity. Stop. Listen to what the God of your understanding has to say. Did you call your sponsor? Did you call anybody in your support group, or you doing your own thing again? You're like, what are you doing? You know, and when I do those things, I'm so much more peaceful. I don't want to suffer in silence. I don't want to pretend like I don't need help when I need help. I don't want to have this self-sufficiency. You think I'm someplace I'm not. Listen, I'm an addict. My name is Patryce. Can you help me? Because this is about my life. There's no room for ego and image. This is about how I live my life one day at a time. So I want to just tell you that I love you, that I'm grateful. God is big. Sponsorship is huge. And addiction can be arrested one day at a time. Thanks for letting me share.